Welcome back to Development Division. This is Chris, and today we are racing again at Circuit of the Americas for the 7th Autocross meet of the season. While I'm finishing up taping, let's get out the pace notes and check out the course preview. Use the run-up to gain some speed before passing the laser line here. The first section begins with a slight left entrance into a 4-cone slalom. With a slight downhill feeling, temptation may be high to hold the throttle open, but think twice because you will be approaching a left-hand turn inside of a Chicago box. Following this, a sweeping right-hander and quick left to set up turnaround. Heading uphill now, you enter a 3-cone slalom for a right-hand exit. A slight bend to the left, followed by a quick right, leads you to an all-out sprint for the finish. In previous sessions, these full-weight HP 108s have been running pretty well in the 24 to 26 PSI range. I'll be setting the front and rear to 24 PSI, and I'm hoping the tires play nice today, because a couple weeks ago, you saw me upgrade the rear brakes to disc brakes. Stainless steel brake lines were also added to all 4 corners. And braking has been a challenge for me all season, so I'm excited to see how the car will handle with some added brake response and power.
Numbers are gonzo. That's STR 34.8, but it's...
As for the first run, I usually try to keep it tame and find the flow of the course. In previous sessions, my best runs have been in my second runs. Today I want to focus on trying to shave time in every run in a more consistent linear pattern. Reaching nearly 45 miles per hour here, I'm hard on the brakes to the Chicago box. I'm impressed with how different the braking feel is with those stainless steel brake lines. However, with the current tire setup, the ABS tends to kick in quite quickly if you do not use threshold braking. Heading uphill feels really sluggish in this car. I try to combat it by keeping some momentum through the turns. The R18 enters max torque around 3,500 RPM and will hold it till 5,500 RPM. I reached the finish line at the top of first, so at least that's somewhat ideal, and I'm not between gears.
Chris Meacham back in his Honda Civic. A lot of the Honda Civics here today. 37.1, good for 19th place in novice right now.
Before getting back in the car for the second run, I increased the stiffness in the rear end of the car. I'm hoping this will add a little bit more grip to the front wheels during the uphill section of the course.
7 moves to 4th place. Picks up 4th second on that one. Moves to 5th place.
Banging the needle in the first gear is probably the most enjoyable feeling of owning an R18 Civic.
Meacham in the Civic with a 1 corner, 38.0 plus 1. 38.0 plus 1 leaves him in 23rd place.
Fuck. 23rd place.
Labrador leading the line. Coming back. 34.5. Slows down as I
At 23rd place. God damn.
After each run, I make a habit of collecting temperature data for the brakes, engine, and transmission, as well as tread depth data and temps on the tires. I ended up stiffening up the front, but my adjustment screw on the front left is frozen in place. I'm not sure why that happens, but it needs to be fixed on another day. I try to pick up as much speed as possible through this first section. With added confidence from the brakes, I can kind of lean on the throttle more. I clipped the same cone in the Chicago box again, so this run is pretty much ruined. So I turn my attention to cleaning up the line on the uphill to reach a higher top speed before the line.
Chris Meacham back with a cone, 37.0 plus 1. 37.0 plus 1, that's no help obviously, and good for 25th place at the moment in novice class.
I have one more session in the novice class. After that, I'll be swimming with the Miatas in STX. I'm actually trembling in fear because the Miata is actually OP. Another thing to note is that this seat has a lot of play side to side, so I'm looking into sorting that out as well. Please leave a comment on a good seat for an R18 Civic. I set up this GoPro just to see the proximity on this cone here, and the picture perfect execution on this run means we might have something here.
Back into 15th place. 21st place, sorry. Chris Meacham is in 15th place now with a big pickup, 36.1. Looks like a big pickup there, over a second, and moves up 10 spots to 15th in novice.
Let's go, son!
33.1, picks up another half
Let's
second.
go. That's what I'm talking about right there. That.
For this last run, I let out some more air from my rear tires and dropped the pressure to 22 psi. This ends up not really being a noticeable change at all.
Getting quicker in here. Chris Meacham with a 36.2. Just a hair off Chris's best time, so he'll finish up no higher than 15th in novice. Top spot in novice is still Michael Avalos. Andrew Anderson, 32.8. That's the best time so far for Andrew.
Hopefully that can stand.
Nice steady improvements for Andrew, even though he's running out of
I
pace,
just ran out of
unfortunately.
yeah. Go ahead and head back to the paddock now.
Marcus Labrador with a cone. No, it's not Labrador. It is Labrador.
I don't think my car's broken, so that's good. That's good.
Here's the dataset for today's showing. The temperatures of the powertrain and drivetrain were stable. However, I'm still concerned about bringing down the temperature of the transmission. The hot laps are pretty short in these autocross sessions, but it seems like everything gets heat soaked with the factory cooling features. As for the tires, they ran as predicted. The highway tires continue to perform consistent, but there's a feeling of some power and grip left on the table. I was most interested in seeing the brake temperatures this time around and comparing them with the last session. As you can see, the graph seems just about the same, but the lines did flatten out a bit. I wonder if a brake bias valve would be able to send more braking power to the rear. The front is easy to overload when on the brakes, and I'm thinking that a proportioning valve could improve the balance. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.